What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. As always, a huge thanks for coming back. And don't forget, if you like what you see, drop a like down below and don't forget to subscribe. It really helps us a lot. So in today's video, we're gonna talk about the 05 Plus axle swap kit on this thing that I just finished basically making. I'm gonna show you how to adjust the trackpad bracket and a couple of things. So let's jump right into it. Okay, so if you're new to the channel or if you haven't been keeping up with the last few videos over the past couple of months, I've actually been working on an 05 Plus axle swap kit for the OBS trucks, specifically for the 92 through 97 trucks. We actually finished the kit a couple weeks ago, and I just been testing it, putting miles on it, driving that off-road, driving it on the highway, just really testing it, and it has been doing amazingly good. The truck drives super straight, super smooth. I'm just absolutely happy with it and the way that it's been performing. I did, however, take it to get aligned last week, and everything checked out perfectly. The guy was actually really impressed with the kit, except me being myself. I totally forgot to take the adjustment shims for the track bar, and the axle was actually pushed to the driver's side a little bit. So that was the only thing that was wrong with it. But again, that was something that is easily fixable, that I just forgot to take those shims so we can actually adjust it at the shop. Actually, the place is a great place. I actually really like going there. If you're anywhere in the Prescott area, it's Northern Arizona Alignment. Great shop. They really know what they're doing, and so that's where I took it. And I just wanted to make sure that everything could be aligned back to the specs. Which, if you do the swap and you take your truck to get aligned, which I really highly recommend, you have to get it aligned to the specs of the Super Duty that your axles came from. So I took it, they checked it for a 2008 FT50. Like I said, the guy was really impressed. Everything checked out, and he was really impressed with the kit. So much so that he actually told me that once he's looking for an OBS, and once he gets an OBS, he is going to be contacting me to get one of my kits. So I think that was really cool, because again, like I said, the guy's actually, it's a really well-known shop. It's an off-road shop, and they deal with lift kits and stuff like that all the time. So for him to be impressed with my kit, I think I was actually really proud. But anyways, like I said, so this is basically the trackpad bracket. It's not the ones I sell right now. This is actually the very first one that I made for my truck. I've changed quite a few things since then. But what I'm talking about is this is where your track bar actually mounts to. So if you can imagine, you've got a bar that goes down like this to your axle, and if the more you lift your truck, the more it's going to push your axle basically that way. And if you don't have some sort of adjustment, your truck's basically going to be kind of like crab walking down the road, or dog tracking. So where your wheels could be like this, and then your back would be like that, and it'll basically drive like that or like this, depending on which way the axles are. So that's why I include this adjustment right there. And then it actually comes with little shims, kind of like this, where you can adjust it from one side to the other. I have 3 sets of these. So you've got one that gives you the furthest adjustment, either to the inside or to the outside. This is the outside of the frame. This is the inside of the frame, obviously. So that'll give you your most, adjustment from side to side. And then this is kind of like an intermediate adjustment. It'll give you halfway between the centered one to the inside, or again, like I said, to the outside. And that just allows you to really fine tune your track bar. Now, obviously, because of the design, it's not gonna, you might not get it completely perfectly centered, because there's obviously, it goes by steps, but it'll get you really close. Now, if you want to have it perfectly centered, the only way to do that is with an adjustable track bar. So that is something that you might want to get if you want to get it completely centered. But like I said, This will get you really close. And right now in the market, my Trackpad Bracket is the only one that does this. I believe the other two that are on the market right now don't do that. The Absolute one does it or did it too. I don't know if they're still in business. But yeah, anyways, that's enough talking. I'm gonna pull the truck into the garage, and it's a super easy, simple process. I'm gonna go ahead and pull the truck in, and we'll get it aligned. I'll show you how to measure it and everything. And yeah, and while we're at it, we might as well get a start of this thing. It's not a cold start. I've actually already driven it today, and it's already like 50 degrees or 60 or something. But we'll go ahead and fire this thing up. Okay, so we got the truck in the garage. Hopefully that sounded pretty good to you guys. I just love the way this thing sounds. I've got the wheels chalked. I got the e-brake on, and I have it in gear. Now, one thing that I forgot to do is straighten out your wheels. You want them as straight as you can possibly have them. So anyways, I'm gonna jump in the truck, straighten out the wheels, because we gotta measure where the axle is at before we jack it up. Now, all you need to measure your distance is a tape measure. Now, something that you can also do if you want to is a some sort of straight edge, as close to the center as I can, as you can see right there. So now we're gonna go from the level to the face of the coil bucket. So basically right over to where it mounts to the frame. Kind of a weird angle, but it should work. Okay, we are at the frame. And looks like this side is 24 and a 16th inch, so 2 feet and a 16th of an inch. See right there. So another thing that you can do, and to the edge of the of the tire of the thread. So if we do that, see right there, we're at the coil bucket, and right here at the very corner of our thread, looks like we are at 23 inches. So now we're gonna go to the other side and take that same measurement. Now, take into account which one of these lugs you're going to, because as you might be able to see, some stick out further than others. So just to be sure, I'm gonna take the measurements again, and I'm going to the one that sticks out further. So that's 23 inches. So on the other side, we'll go to the one that sticks out further too. And same spot on the frame. So right there, we got about 23.5 inches. Now, that basically means that the axle has to go to the driver's side a 1/4 inch. So you basically split the difference in half. Now, right now, it's in the middle position. What you would do then is find the shim that moves you that way about a 1/4 inch. So now, each one of these steps moves you 5/16 of an inch. So that's either to the outside or to the inside, depending on how you obviously mount it from the center one. So obviously, like I said, I am currently in the center position. So I want to go, like I said, to the driver's side about 1/4 inch, and our closest one is going to be this 5/16 to the offset to the outside. So that's kind of what I said. It's not going to get you perfect, but it's going to get you very close to where you can probably pass an alignment. And another thing to note is, if you're first putting on your kit, what I would recommend is put on everything, basically finalize it, install it for a final time, put your Trackpad Bracket in the center position, and put it back down on the ground on its wheels, drive it down the block or the street, just so that you let everything settle down. Once everything's settled a little bit, again, take your measurements like I showed you, and then make your adjustment, and put everything back together, drive it down the street again, and then measure again, just to see how close you are. I know it sounds like a pain, but you can do it pretty easily. So now that I know roughly what I need to do, I'm gonna go ahead, jack this thing up, remove the wheels, get the trackpad bracket broken loose, and make our adjustments. So I'm gonna go ahead and show you all of that. Okay guys, so I've got everything in place to break that loose. I basically have the truck jacked up, the wheels and tires removed. I have my ratchet strap ready to pull the axle this way, and then I've got my breaker bar and then a second socket to hold the other side ready. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and do this. Like I said, it's not that bad. Again, that thing is just gonna be really tight. But yeah. Oh, I also did go ahead and remove the sway bar just to give me more access right here to not be working around it. Okay, so I don't know if you saw that, but what you just saw me do is adjust the axle. I basically pulled the truck over to the passenger side with the ratchet strap, and as you can see, I still have my bolt installed in there. That's basically in there just as a safety precaution. When you are doing this though, I am going to suggest that you have the truck actually suspended by the frame, because this thing right here is what keeps your axles under your truck. So if you don't have your frame supported, there is a possibility that the truck might flip over. Now obviously this thing has the radius arms and everything, so it kind of keeps it pretty stiff, but definitely a huge safety measure that I would do is put something under the frame. I wouldn't do it the way that I'm doing. I shouldn't really go anywhere with it, but like I said, I've got my shim in the position that I need it to on this side. So what I am going to do real quick is go ahead, remove the bolt. I have my other shim ready. I'm going to remove it and put it back in real quick with the correct shim. So now what I'm going to do is get all of this tight again, get it on its wheels. Again, like I said, take it down the block, make sure that it feels good, that it's and bring it back and do that measurement test again to make sure that it is aligned. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and do that. Okay guys, so I just got this whole thing put completely back together, other than 4 lug nuts on each side, and I took it on a quick spin around the neighborhood. So like I said, to kind of let everything settle into place, and now we're gonna go ahead and take that measurement again. So going across the tire to the coil bucket, and then we're looking right around 23 1/4, 23 3/16-ish. Let's see the other side. Again, all the way to the coil bucket, to the same size lug on the tire, and we are looking about the same. We are maybe a 1/16 off, you know, give or take. But in my opinion, that's perfect. Again, like I said, these things, they might not get you perfect depending on your springs, on what lift. And by the way, I've said this before, but this kit, the way that it's designed to work up to about a 3.5–4 inch lift max, and then around stock. So it gives you that range. So like I said, depending if you have stock springs or 3-inch lift springs, it's gonna throw that track bar, you know, in a different position in these slots. One thing that I'm gonna point out that maybe some of you guys have already kind of noticed and were like, what the hell? This thing is at about the max height that this kit was designed for, and as you can see, it's almost all the way over there. Now don't worry, this is actually still an old track bar. It's not the newest design that I have. The newest design that I had, I've actually made these go that way a little bit more. That way, for trucks that are stock, it gives you more stability to also be able to center it perfectly. So yeah, I just wanted to point that out. Like I said, I've had a few changes that I made to this thing to make it fit as perfectly as possible. So that was definitely one of them. Okay guys, so we've been doing a little bit of road testing on this thing, you know, just to see how it feels. And the steering wheel is still crooked, but like the truck drives, it drives great. It does really good. It drives straight. You see, I'm not holding onto the wheel. It will pull a little bit to the right, but that's because of the crown of the road. Other than that, like, it feels great. Very happy with it. Super happy with this thing. Anyways, I think we're gonna head back home, and yeah. Okay guys, so we made it back home, and this thing, like I said, performed just amazing. I really love the way this thing rides, and it's just a fun truck to drive. So now that we have everything squared off, I'm actually gonna check it one more time just to be sure. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that real quick. So now the last and final step that I'm really gonna suggest you guys do is mark your track bar bolt, and that's one of the things that it'll basically tell you if that thing starts getting loose. And I would really check it, especially like the first few thousand miles. I would check it very regularly. I would look under there and just make sure that that line is still where it should be. What I like to do is to grab a paint marker, make sure that it's got paint, and I like to go on the bolt, on the nut, and then all the way down to the bracket. Just sort of messed it up a little bit. Might have gone a little bit too much, but you get the idea. Basically, if this thing starts moving from where you painted it, you'll tell that it's getting loose. Again, I did go a little bit overboard with my mark. You definitely want a cleaner, just straight line going through it. But yeah, that's that. Okay guys, but that's gonna be it for this week's video. Hopefully you learned a little bit more about my product. Again, these kits are gonna be going for sale sometime next month. I'm thinking about mid February, so I'll definitely keep you guys informed on this, on how everything's going. Next week I am gonna be sending the first batch of test kits for a few guys that are gonna be trying them out on their trucks. So definitely very excited about that. I'm gonna start pretty much putting them together this week, and then hopefully mid next week those kits are gonna be getting sent out. So super excited about that. And yeah, just really happy with how everything is working. But yeah, again, leave a like, drop a comment down below. Don't forget to subscribe, and we'll see you for the next one.